Jack Sanborn returns to the Chicago Bears. We got to talk about what this means for the kind of defense that Dennis Allen is building and what the Chicago Bears are going to need moving forward. All that and more on today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Let's go. Now, if you are new to the channel, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. Only channel talk Chicago sports, how Chicago talk. So make sure that you stay in tune with us, man. Again, appreciate you guys for showing love as always. So this news broke a couple of hours ago. I was at my daughter's dance recital, so I did not get to do the breaking news on this. But listen, it's Jack Sanborn. Jack Sanborn is big enough for us to have an even late breaking news topic on this. I love the re-signing of Jack Sanborn, and it tells me the only thing that I need to know about what DA wants to do moving forward, the only thing that I need to know about how he wants this defense to be structured. He wants a defense that knows what it's doing. He wants a defense that understands where it needs to be and a defense that can make the play. And I know that sounds very, very basic, but the return of the Sandman is one thing that we have seen in a lot of these players that the Bears have brought in, and I think it just further stamps this conversation. He didn't miss, right? He wasn't the fastest. He wasn't the quickest. He didn't have the greatest intangibles. He didn't have all of these things that you would say via the draft a guy you want to have on this team needs, right? He didn't have those things. And yet, if it was a running back trying to make a move to get out of the backfield, he knew where that running back was going to be. He beat the running back there. He tackles the running back in the backfield for a loss of yards. He knew that, okay, this is where this tight end should end up. I need to beat that guy to that spot. It's not about playing at 4.3 speed, or it's not about running 4.3 speed. It's about being able to play at an NFL speed, and Jack Sanborn embodies that. And I think that is the conversation that you can have about a Neville Gallimore. That's the conversation you can have about Devin Bush. That is the conversation that you can have about Kobe Bryant, who you brought back here, right? Guys who just truly don't miss the simple play. And that's something that we did struggle with at times last season. That's something that we did struggle with in the playoffs, right? Where it's like, how are you letting this guy get wide open? How are you letting this guy beat you to this spot? Don't you know what you're supposed to be doing? I feel like we're not going to be asking those questions with TJ Edwards, with Devin Bush, with DeMarco Jackson, who literally, that was what he did best last season, in my opinion. When you talk about DeMarco Jackson, it wasn't his great athleticism that we were watching and we were like, oh my God, DeMarco Jackson, what a play. No, it was him beating guys to the spot they were supposed to be, him getting his nose in there and disrupting what the offense wanted to do. That's what you want to have in a potential linebacking core. And to me, you now have 4 guys that can do that versus last season where and again, it was because of injury, right? TJ Edwards was that guy. DeMarco Jackson was that guy as well. But you now have those guys who, are they the fastest? Are they the quickest? Are they going to beat you everywhere with their speed? Probably not, but they're going to know what you need to know on the offensive side. They're going to beat you to that spot, and they're going to either meet you with a big thud or they're going to take that football away. And I think that's going to be very big for the Chicago Bears this upcoming season. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below about the Sandman coming back. Do you like the signing of Jack Sanborn, or do you feel like the Chicago Bears are just kind of making middling moves? Now, here's what I don't want anybody to look at this and take away from it, right? Here's what I don't want this to be. Oh, we're good. We're set. They got it all figured out. It's going to be fine. We just got to you still got to win in this draft. I talked about it on the Chicago Bears podcast today. The moves that you've made are singles and doubles. You have not hit a home run with any of these moves. I think the Jack Sanborn move is a single, right? Good player to have back in the building. It doesn't put you over the top. You need to now go out and find your home run. And the direction that they have chosen is to find that home run via the draft. And I'm okay with that. I think that that's a good a smart move for you to make here, especially if you're talking about cap space and things like that moving forward. I think that it's a good move for you as far as building the team, and you're not going to have any questions on how you're going to be able to pay the first franchise quarterback in your team's history since, I guess, Sid Luckman walked in the door. If we really want to talk about a conversation on franchise quarterbacks here. The bottom line for me with all of this is Ryan Poles is putting the pressure of fixing the mistakes not on going out and signing massive free agents, but on his scouts, on himself, on Dennis Allen. Hey, you build the defense that you want to build. You build the defense that's going to take this team to the next level. How are you going to do that? It's going to be through the draft. You're going to get these young moldable pieces in the building that you can do whatever you want with. And you've got Jeremy Garrett in the building. You've got Al Harris in the building. You've got this great defensive coaching staff that we praised all last season for making the most out of kind of this goulash of pieces that realistically weren't Dennis Allen guys. They were Matt Eberflus guys. They were, Ryan Poles guys mixed in there. But I think you see kind of with the changes that the Bears have made, you're now going to see this defense, a defense that, in my opinion, is going to be a very intelligent one. Now you're going to be able to go out there and build via the draft to essentially now focus completely on the defensive line. Because I'll be honest with you, let me know how you guys feel in the comments below here, especially in the chat. I'll get to some of you guys' comments on the Sandman coming back here. Do you feel like the linebacker position is still a question mark for you? Now, there's talent in this draft. I'm not going to say they're not, but DeMarco Jackson, solid. Jack Sanborn, solid. Devin Bush, with a good defensive line in front of him, I would say a really good linebacker. TJ Edwards with a good defensive line in front of him, a really good linebacker. To me, this is, hey, we're focusing on one, maybe two positions here going into the draft within these first 100 picks. We are paying heavy attention to the defensive line, and we are paying heavy attention possibly to that safety position, depending on which safety ends up falling to you. I think that you are set at the linebacker position, and you have made this draft as easy as possible for you. By the way, a draft where you're still probably going to see them go out and try and acquire a center in those top 100 picks possibly, or maybe if you can get one in the 4th or 5th round, right? Try and go out there and get one of those guys. We've heard that they've been in conversations with Sam Hecht, who we talked about on the Morning Breeze this morning. I think that you're in a really, really strong spot at the linebacker position right now that you can kind of focus your draft capital on going out there and answering a ton of these questions on the defensive line. And I know we look at this and say, oh, we're just looking for one edge rusher, an elite edge rusher to put opposite of Montez Sweat. Sounds nice. Or are we looking for two edge rushers that can come in, one who can be opposite Montez Sweat, one who eventually can take Montez Sweat's job? We know how the business of football goes. We don't have to pretend like we don't. We know how the business of football goes. Right? Like you're looking at all of these options here, and yet now you have this ability because of what you've locked up at the linebacker position, and you can say, hey, look, we got Sandman, we've got DeMarco Jackson, we got TJ Edwards, who's going to come back healthy. We've got who did I just leave out of that? Sanborn, DeMarco Jackson, TJ Edwards. Oh, we brought in Devin Bush that answers the speed of the conversation, right? Maybe with one of those early picks, we can go safety. Maybe we go double edge rusher within those top 100 picks. Maybe we go one interior lineman and a safety and one edge rusher and one center and or left tackle, right? Like there's so many options available to you. And I think you just checked something else off of the list. Am I going to sit here and say this is going to be the most dominant linebacking core in football? No, I'm not. Because we know that there are limitations with some of these players. But do I think that this is going to be one of the most technically sound linebacking cores in football? That I do believe, and that gets you a long way. Right? You can go out after the traits. You can go out after speed. You can go out after ability, size, all of that. You can go after all of that. Can he play football? Can he get out on that field, know what the offense is going to do, know what spot he needs to be in, go out there and make a play? Can he play football? Because that's what Jack Sanborn can do. That's what DeMarco Jackson can do. That's what TJ Edwards can do. That's what Devin Bush can do, even though Devin Bush does bring that speed. Those are the names that I am looking at for and feeling confident in starting the season off. By the way, you still have Noah Sewell on this roster if there's going to be anything from him at any point, right? There's still guys here. You've still got Ruben Hippolyte on this roster. There's still those development pieces as well in the building. I think that this screams, hey, we're going defensive line heavy. We're going defensive tackle. You got Shamar Turner coming back. Hopefully he is healthy. We are trying to replace the two edges that we brought in at a high dollar point to Montez Sweat and Dendayo Adangbo. But you know what? They are here right now. Why not get these rookies in here, get them acclimated? And if they are able to beat them out for the job, you beat them out for the job. I love how this offseason has gone because it puts the pressure back on Ryan Poles to fix the mistakes that he has made. And it's not you going out there and trying to overcome it by paying 30-40 million for one player on the defense. You now can go out and get 4 players on this defense with the draft capital that you have acquired. I think that is a sound move. I think that is a smart move, and I'm excited to see what the Bears are going to do here in this year's draft. Lee FM in the comments, he said, we actually got really nice and everyone is a scheme guy, so it's going to be magical with what little we had to start off with. Poles cooked again. Now we got to bring it home in the draft. 100%. I think that is kind of exactly what I've been saying this entire time. Like, there's a ton there that you could be excited about. Bottom line is, though, listen, I love what your linebacking core is right now. I love what your corners could be. I love what your safety room could look like. I love a lot of what you've done. I hate all of it if you don't create pressure on the quarterback. Truly. None of these moves matter if you don't create pressure on the quarterback. Devin Bush is really good with a good defensive line in front of him. Without a good defensive line in front of him, is he still fast? Can he still get there? Yeah, but now he's fighting for his life. TJ Edwards, we've seen his time without a defensive line in front of him. I'd love for TJ Edwards to not have nearly as many tackles as he does. You know why he's got so many tackles? 1, because he's good at tackling, but 2, because quarterbacks have all the time in the world to get the ball to a tight end. So you got to make tackles when a guy's running past you wide open. You're going to have these guys fighting for their lives. None of these moves really make a bit of difference if you can't force the quarterback to get rid of the football quickly. And I hope that that's what the Bears do here via the draft. Roddy B in the comments, he said, new defensive tackles. There is zero reason Javon Dexter should be starting at this point. We're too focused on edge rushers when we have no defensive tackles. Booker and Sweat are starters at least. Well, listen, Javon Dexter's a starter. Is he great? No, but he's a starter. He's exactly what Montez Sweat and Austin Booker are. He's fine. We can't pretend that he's so much further back than where they are. Remind me of that elite moment where Montez Sweat was creating nothing but pressure for the quarterback or on the quarterback and forced him into a struggle. Remind me that elite moment where Austin Booker was doing nothing but pressuring a quarterback all day. They've got the things that they're good at. They're both really good pass rushers and sack guys, right? 3rd and long, you don't want to see a Montez Sweat and Austin Booker on the field because they're pinning areas back and they can get to you. But you got a bunch of guys that are just fine. Even Grady Jarrett at the end of last year, I thought as he started to get a little bit healthier, he started to build himself back up. I thought Grady Jarrett was fine at the end of last year. Fine ain't good enough, though, for the money you're paying them. At a minimum, at least with Javon Dexter's fine, he's making a rookie contract and 2nd-round pick rookie contract at that. So, like, I look at where Montez is, I look at, and Austin Booker kind of that same conversation as Javon, but I look at where those guys are, and it's just like, they're making a lot of money for Darius said, we got to go to Seattle Blueprint and load up on mean MFers. We can rotate and find dudes in the draft. that just get pressure constant up the middle. Also, not just that. Yeah, listen, I think that those guys do exist. I think you added one of those guys to your team. As quiet as it's kept, I think Neville Gallimore is going to do really well here in this system. Reason being, I look at that 10-yard split, and I look at how he pass rushed last year. I look at how often he was beating the center, his pass rush win rate. Like, he's got a lot of good things that you can look at and say, hey, like, this guy is able to get home. This guy, no, I shouldn't say get home. This guy is able to get the quarterback off of his spot so that somebody can get home, right? Like, this guy's able to get the quarterback to move in a different direction, at least, where Javon Dexter could not, to where a Montez Sweat and or an Austin Booker should be able to get home. So, like, I look at that and I say, you've added that in. You've got Grady Jarrett here, who, if he has a bounce back year this year, I think that you're reaching for the stars and you're feeling really good about that contract all of a sudden. I think if you can add young pieces in the interior to that rotation of Javon Dexter and those guys in the mix, you feel good about that. As same with the edge pressure, right? The good thing about this draft is the Bears don't have a ton to go after. I know people sit here and they try to say, there's a ton of holes on this team. There aren't really. Even if you feel like Jalen Johnson may not bounce back and be the healthiest player again, right? Like, you've got Zay Frazier, who you still need to see some from and develop. You went out and you added depth pieces. You've still got Tyreek Stevenson, who maybe can develop. I don't know what Tyreek is at this point. You've still got, like, you're fine in that room. Terrell Smith is going to be returning from that ACL injury. So, like, you're fine in that room. When you look at the safety room, maybe a little bit different, right? The Colts end up signing Jonathan Owens. So you would assume safety is going to be a focus in the draft. To me, those are fine conversations to have. But outside of that, you're talking the defensive linemen that we know they're going after. You got the picks for that. Safety that you know they're going after. You got the picks for that. And a young center maybe. And realistically speaking, they may feel confident enough that they have their young center on the roster in Luke Newman already. We don't know. So again, I look at these moves that the Bears have made as singles and doubles, but you got to make a hit to score some of these runs. And you don't score runs if you're not making good contact in the draft. Let's put it that way. You got to find guys that can score these runs in. And I think that is some of the D linemen that we have talked about. I've reacted to a couple of them on the Patreon. Going to still be doing I got to do a video for the Patreon today. So if you haven't subscribed to the Patreon, make sure to tap in with us on the Patreon side as well. The reason we're putting it on Patreon, I know a lot of people look at, why are you putting stuff behind a paywall, yada, yada, yada. The reason we're putting it on Patreon is because with the Breeze, when we were posting before video clips and reaction stuff, I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, though, one day we were demonetized. So I don't want to take that chance again. So we're putting it over on the Patreon side, putting it behind the paywall so that we can avoid the copyright claims. And this is content just for you guys to enjoy. We're going to try and do as much of that as we can over there. We're also going to be reacting to some NBA content. We're also going to be reacting to different things around the NFL. Maybe even some, what is it, XFL, UFL, whatever they're calling that league. Maybe even do some of that over there, right? It's summertime football. We'll figure it out. Of course, the tournament coming up, react to some of those games as well. So I say all that to say, tap in with the Patreon. We're going to be going over all of the draft prospects that we feel make sense to the Chicago Bears. We've already done Peter Woods. We have already done, what did I do today? Or yesterday? I did Peter Woods the first day. Oh, I did Malachi. Jesus, why can't I think of his name now? Give me a second. Malachi Lawrence. That's where it is. We did Malachi Lawrence yesterday. We'll do another one today, so make sure that you're tapped in on that. But hey, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. As always, I'm going to get up out of here. Shout out to you guys for rocking with the channel. It's your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again. Jack Sanborn back with the Chicago Bears. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below on the move. Bear down. One love. Peace.